How's everybody doing today? Happy Thanksgiving. Just super quick stream. Check and see what my signal looks like. Hope everybody's having a great holiday. Uh, I was just kind of looking at this. It was super sad, but talk about it from the FBI perspective and what we think they're going to do. Once again, you know how we get down. Any IT questions, just drop them in the box and we'll go over it. Once again, we're gonna hit it from a cybersecurity perspective. Killer thumbnail by me. Nah, I'm just joking. Once again, so we're gonna get started and just fall into it, and I'm sure people will fall in and check it out. And we're gonna read a super quick article, kind of the level set everybody. But once again, if you got any technology questions, just put them in the chat. If you want to replay, just make a comment on the video. I respond to 99% of the comments. Sometimes YouTube doesn't show them. But once again, put any IT or cybersecurity questions in the chat. You see the thumbnail. PBO, we're going to talk a little bit about cyber forensics. And see at the bottom, FBI cybersecurity breakdown. What's up, Trash Can Waves? Salute on the case. I appreciate that. So we're just gonna break it down from a cybersecurity perspective. Like I said, we're just gonna get into it. I'm gonna read a super quick article that'll give time for a few people to come in. Once again, if you got any IT or cybersecurity questions, just drop them in the chat. So these are the things we're gonna hit right there. So these are once again some of the things we're gonna hit into the video from. What's up? Keep it techie. Happy holidays. So these are some of the things we're going to hit. Once again, I'm going to do it from a cybersecurity perspective. That's just crazy. You go on vacations and your friends take you out, man. It's getting ugly out here, man. You got to be careful. You don't know who's on your side and not on your side. So that's the crazy part about it. Super young lady too, man. It's like she had a few things going on. But these are the things we're going to hit on here. Miss Nash, shout out to Miss Nash. We probably paralegal. We're going to be talking about chain of custody. When the FBI get the chain of custody, they can't mess it up because they're going to use it in court. So we're going to touch a little bit on that. So shout out to the legal profession in the house. So what we're going to touch on, geofencing. Kind of what is that? Shout out to Trash Can. I think that too, Trash Can. So it's geofencing, digital search warrants, a little bit how do you get them, what do they entail? Like I said, from a judge, how do you get it? So look, Brother Michael. The two is we're going to talk about personal cell phones, text tracking, metadata of calls. So a lot of times when you call, I don't need to listen to your call. I need to know that you call Keep It Techie, right? So now, I know you in this web of evil, right? So who do they call? Who do they text? A lot of times I don't need to hear the call or hear the text. I just need to say, oh, they reached out to this person, right? So now I can get a search warrant, right? Because I got probable cause. What is the probable cause? We're going to get into that. They show the video with them beating it up. So now the judge is going to be like, hey, anything related to that, probable cause. So they're going to get search warrants on everything, right? The other thing I think people forget is most residents, especially Airbnbs, which they shouldn't do, they have cameras on the inside. And we know they got cameras with you walking up because they count people to make sure you didn't overbook their place and turn it up. So any Ring doorbells in that block or probably in a quarter-mile or a radius, they're gonna be looking at that. Why? For this case, I don't think it matters because you're gonna geofence everybody in the room when the time happened. But two is they're gonna be looking at Ring doorbells, see who's going and who's coming, right? If they probably would have tried to take her somewhere, right? They could have seen it on the Ring doorbell or ADT, right? So they all got those stream recordings. They're saving those for at least 30 days, right? The metadata on the video. So the fight video, we're looking to it. It's gonna have a time step. A lot of times it's got your longitude and latitude of where you at, right? So we're gonna touch a little bit about that. Shout out to JM. The geofencing work on MAC address level or IP. Woo. I think it's IP, but on a Mac, I need to do a little research. I know what it is on a PC. I'm not 100% sure on a Mac what that will be. Also, when you clear cookies, do you also delete metadata? No, because there's clear cookies. That's the information in the cache. When you go to the video, even if you go to a Word document, it shows the company stuff and all that stuff, date and time. You actually have to click on the video or click on the document and say erase that. So now the cookies is the browser's tracing you. Then there's additional metadata on videos and pictures, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and show that in there. So I think that's what we're going to hit today. Once again, RIP to the beautiful young lady, and it's crazy out here. So we're going to read a super short, just level set. I usually look at The Hill. They got a lot of national cybersecurity things they talk about from a nation state. And I always said I was going to do a little more of those. So again, we're going to hit it. Then we're going to start. This is the agenda for today. Geofencing, search warrant, personal sales. I don't know why people carry their cell phones when they do crime, right? That's just so obvious for me, but it happens all the time. Ring doorbells and residential cameras, metadata, forensics, right? So if you actually get control of it, right? A lot of times, and there's an article I'm gonna read is when you delete your messages, delete your pictures, they're still on the phone. And a lot of people forget that if their phone crashed, they're replicating their data to Google, right? So a lot of times they forget that data's being saved off to Google. So when you get your new phone and put your SIM card in there, it copies all that down from Google. People forget that, right? So people forget there's multiple copies and how to undelete something that's deleting. Then social media, we'll talk about search warrants from the big social media companies. Then two is if your car you was driving away, OnStar is actually tracking you and doing triangulation from your car with the IP address from OnStar, right? So that's the agenda for today, and that's what we're gonna hit. So once again, put anything in the chat box. We'll talk about. I made a cardio sandwich with BLT. Shout out to Miss Nash. She eating good. That's my 2023. I'm just giving up to 2023, man. What's up, Ty? Shout out to Ty and out there grinding. We doing a case study like this. We doing a case study like, is that we doing it or you doing it for something else? Michael, give me a little context for that. But yeah, we're gonna walk it down like a case study. That's what I'm doing today. And for a lot of people don't know this is if you go out to my homepage, I actually used to teach forensics to intro to forensic analysis, like looking in the phones, looking in the PCs, using EnCase. It's a tool to keep all your CIs or legal artifacts for chain of custody to make sure nobody can mess with it, right? So we're going to touch on, like I said, a little bit about that. You can go check out my playlist on forensics if you're bored and you want to hear me chop it up about this. So PBO, I taught, a lot of people know, I taught 10 years at a community college. Last couple of years, students was complaining about me. I'm old, I don't change. So shout out to them. I was tired of them and they was tired of me. So I'm checking out my AWS cert. So that's what I'm focused on now. I'll probably teach again in a couple of years. So I'm not taking breath. So let's get out of it. Once again, that's the agenda we're going to hit. If you got any questions, especially when we get on in that particular part, we can chop it up about it. So once again, we're going to read this quick article from The Hill. I said I was going to do more big society things. I'm putting this as part of that. We're going to break it down. See, man, been in the mental state of which career direction to roll. Other than that, my stuff. So that's everybody, Ty. I don't space out about it. Because remember, shout out to Tam, shout out to Keep It Techie, shout out to Kev Tech. You're getting fundamentals, and even if you go on something, you either pivot, they all stack on each other. Like I was a programmer for 10 years. I was a DBA for 3. I was a web admin. I was a manager with a horrible team. That's why I'm not in management now. I do compliance more. I've done compliance over the last 10 years. I'm about to pivot back and do DevOps and cloud. So I think that's going to be my last 10 years to get to the bag. I'll be 55 soon, super soon. So I need that last 10 years to get that last big buy tie. So just pick something. And I tell people, pick something and just hit it hard for a couple years. Um, can some old couple years fly by when you're young? You think a couple years is a long time, but each one of my skills stack on each other. So when I got into cybersecurity, all those different jobs, all those crappy managers, all those jobs I hated, right? I use all those skill sets now in cybersecurity. So I would just pick something. Uh, make sure your network's good. Shout out to Black Heights, Textual Chatter, Tech G. They all got career developments. They all got contacts out there to help you get a job, and just pick it and go with it, Ty. If there's anything I can do for you, just reach out. You got my email. We can always, chop it up behind the scenes if you want. Just let me know. But once again, let's hit it real quick. FBI programming suspicious death or Shanquella Robinson. I wouldn't even call it suspicious anymore. When that video came out, right? It's I'm not a lawyer. I play one at home. One of my best friends is a lawyer, right? I hang out with a paralegal, so that's really a shut in case. Shout out to TLA's been talking about that, right? The FBI launched an investigation into a suspicious death of American woman, Shanquella Robinson, who died under suspicious circumstances last month while on vacation in Mexico. Man, I want to go to Mexico and relax, but the agency field office in Charlotte, North Carolina confirmed here Wednesday that it's launched an investigation into Robinson death. And since it was in another country, obviously the FBI is going to get there. Most states have a local FBI office. I usually talk to the one here a couple times, so I'm familiar with the FBI office. And once again, we'll get into that a little deeper. Robinson, 25, died last month after traveling to Mexico with 6 of her friends. I wouldn't call them their friends. Some of her friends initially told her mother that she was alcohol poisoning. We know that's a lie, but when they did an autopsy, she had death as a severe spinal cord injury. Videos also circulated online being assaulted by another woman. While, of course, she didn't have any clothes. The crazy thing is, I don't think they really wanted to kill her. I think they were trying to embarrass her, beat her up. They had some naked photos of it, but you went too far. Now, if I'm them, everybody in that room is going to get charged. And if I'm her father, some people in that room is going to get dealt with. I'm just going to say it like that. Local authorities in Mexico reportedly launched a homicide. So if you get convicted in Mexico, you stand in a Mexican jail, right? That's a whole different ballgame. The State Department said it would provide counselors, resources to the Robinson family. The State General Office in Baja California received a call October 29th from a public security member reporting the death of a foreign woman inside of a room in the beach club area in San Jose del Cabo. So people don't realize those companies with extradition and where you travel a lot, people get sick all the time and not a lot of times, but die. But they have communications with foreign consulates, so it's not unusual for them to reach out to people. They got a chain of phone calls they're going to make and how they're going to handle it. The Mexican authorities told the media the outlet investigators were sent to the scene to collect more evidence to achieve accurate clarification of the evidence without ruling any hypothesis. The death certificate stated Robinson was found unconscious in a living room at the residence and died 15 minutes after she sustained her injuries. However, the Charlotte Observer obtained a police report that says a doctor was called to the vacation home to retrieve Robinson, who was apparently inebriated and unable to communicate, although her vital signs was initially stable. The report said the friends resisted doctor's suggestions into taking her to the hospital. So the friends didn't even want to let her take her to the hospital. That's the crazy part. Robinson's father, I'm going to pray for him, told the Times that he was shocked authorities would let his daughter's friends return back to the U.S., saying he would continue to fight for the answers to his daughter's death. I guess the funeral will be held on Saturday. I can't talk for her, but I'm going to be her voice, Robin, the father says. I can't even comprehend that as a father, man. And me and my son be getting into it, but no, man, that's just unbelievable. So that's just kind of level set everybody. I knew everybody was this. So once again, we about to start hitting these pieces: geofencing, search warrant, personal sales, ring doorbells, metadata, social media tracking, and OnStar, right? I used to teach forensics for 10 years at a small community college in Indiana. So I'm kind of boring like that. Let's see. could cut on the comments real quick. Me too, Ty. So far, I like penetration testing, defense like blue team. I'm a blue team stuff. I've done hardening, programming. I put in blue team. Right now, I do compliance, which is hardening and validated. I do a lot of IRS work and FISMA and DoD work, right? Making sure the infrastructure is compliant. So shout out to the blue team. Now, yeah, but once again, it just picks up. My only issue with pen testing and red team, real quick, especially from you talking about this, is most companies don't have this talent on staff, so they outsource it. So to me, it seems like it's less jobs, right? So when I do programming, most companies have programmers or networking guys. When you do red team and blue teams, start red team, offensive stuff, that talent you usually reach out to when you need it. Like I work for a big state client. Every 3 years by federal compliance, we got to do them. We spend a boatload of money for 2 months. They come inside, they try to hack us, they check all our policies and procedure. Then we don't really use that talent for 3 years unless we feel like we've been hacked. Now, them guys make a boatload of money when you get them, right? Shout out to my man, Third World Columbia. I usually check out For the Record TV. Go check them out. When I'm too old, they be getting spicy over there, man. They be talking about relationships, but I always check in on that team because when I first got started on YouTube, shout out to them, they actually gave me a platform. I was always on their platform sucking up air, so I'm always gonna send love to For the Record TV. Most times I'm in the cloud, but they reach out to me if they need any tech, and the old guy pop up on there. They be getting a little too spicy for the old people, but nah, shout out For the Record TV. Shout out to Third Ward. You know, like I said, when I first got here, it was definitely, I was on their panel like every week. So shout out to them. I got 1,999 subscribers and a lot of them's cussing them. I need one more to get to 2K. Shout out to me. Let's see. Everybody's getting charged. Yeah, everybody going to jail. Get to go. Yeah, I can't even imagine going to jail on foreign. So Mexico checking in. Shout out to one. Yeah, I might have to go check y'all out, man. Y'all over there, man. What y'all doing in Mexico, Wayne, man? We got to be protecting the United States citizens in Mexico. No, I'm just joking. I know Wayne, that got person. Your friend, U.S. power of attorney, when you on foreign land, your friend, your power of attorney. Woo, man. Something when I travel to Mexico City, you go to the street markets, there are stands that are offering hacking service at Facebook. Facebook used to be super easy to hack. They do it a little better, but yeah, there's one thing I'm gonna spoil a little bit. A lot of local police do fake accounts, and if you friend them, that's your fault, right? I think that's entrapment, but we're gonna talk about that. A lot of state police are sending people I wouldn't say fake friend requests, but they're not really highlighting who they are, right? So I think a lot of people are narking on themselves, right? Shout out to the pen test. I do a little pen testing, but I usually say that out to Alpha Cyber. There's a few pen testers on here. I think Gabe A is probably in there. So like I said, I do a little bit because as a blue team, I want to test my infrastructure, right? So me and Sister Lulu got the cheat code living in Mexico. Yeah, facts, man. I might need to come over there, man, and downgrade. So once again, let's hit it. What exactly is geofencing? Let me take Brother Wayne off of there. Let's see. What is geofence? It's a location-based service where an app or other software program uses radio frequency identification, RFID, Wi-Fi, GPS, or cellular data to trigger a targeting marketing action, such as text, email, social media advertisement, or app location. When a mobile device or RFID tag enters or exits the virtual geographic boundary, it's known as a geofence. You can track consumers' locations through GPS, Bluetooth, beacons, and there are 3 ways to utilize the technology for targeting consumers: geo-tracking, geofencing, and beaconing. Right? They're using it for advertisement, but the police is using it for the same thing. When you inside that geo area, we know who you are and we got your information, right? We're not sending you advertisement, right? We're tracking you because we're going to arrest you, right? So you can use it for a couple different things. So geofencing warrants are a type of reverse warrants where the government seeks to know who was in the geofence, define a physical area during a specific period of time. These are types of reverse warrants used to identify suspects when none are known without the data gathered by the warrant. So So the warrant says, hey, anybody in this area at this time, we we own you, right? So is that fishing? Is that too big of an area, right? So now you in a federal case just because you were walking in the area, right? So is that an overreach? The government utilized geofencing warrants to compel companies such as Google to produce information about devices interacting with their technology within a particular geographic region. Geofencing warrants are an unprecedented increase in the government's ability to locate individuals without substantial evidence or investment in resources. Right? Through a geofence warrant, the government can obtain what Google refers to as location history. Right. So when you leave your location on, right, and you walking through, you checking in, the government could just say 2 o'clock. I want everybody within a quarter of a mile area. You could have been just shopping. Now you want a federal investigation, right? Is that overreach? Because you were just walking, right? So I'll put a little picture on it what that looks like, right? So that's the geofence. We're gonna drill down a little deeper with the triangulation of cell towers in a minute. But if you're in that fence and that green, right there, you see you in the geofence, boom. Police got you, FBI got you, CIA got you, just because you was walking through when they were looking for somebody, right? So once again, is that over? I think it's government overreach, but then if you're outside the geofence, right? Geofence is a virtual geographical boundary around a physical location. And the crazy part about it, with 5G, you actually need more poles and equipment to be closer together to get that speed. So since there are more poles, right, they can get down to probably 30 or 40 yards now when 5G starts getting out, because you need more 5G poles and they can use that for triangulation, right? Talk to me. So yeah, so now that's what we're talking about right there. Cell phone triangulation algorithm, right? So now we're talking about geofencing. Now we're going to talk about how do they do that, right? And the weird thing is Google's doing it, Facebook's doing it. Because if you walk by a restaurant in a certain area, you start getting stuff on your Facebook or in Google Pictures saying, do you want to shop? Here's a coupon, right? Because they're tracking you to that level. So cell phone triangulation algorithm, a mobile phone tracking process to identify the location of your mobile phone, with stationary or moving. Localization may occur with even a multilateral radio signal between several cell towers in the phone or via simple GPS. Mobile positioning used in telecommunications companies to approximate the location of your phone and enable to offer location-based services information to your mobile users. Cell phone triangulation is used to identify the location of a phone. A cell phone consistently emit roaming radio signals that may be picked up by 3 or more cell phone towers. Calculation estimates the coordinates of the mobile device, longitude and latitude, or nearby towers, as well as the estimate distance of the device from the cell towers, either based on the signal strength or measuring the time delay the signal takes to return back to the tower of the phone. So that's the triangulation. So the sky blue down there, that's you bouncing all those cell towers. So when Hernandez, the football player, did his deletion, right? They knew he took his phone with him. So they knew he was within 400 meters of at the time it actually happened. Keep it tech. You think it's an overreach? Yeah, I think it is too. But two is, but I love solving crimes, but that's a debate. And I used to have that with my classes. We don't magically catch people. So to get that type of information, sometimes I'm stepping on your privacy rights, right? You don't magically capture terrorists, right? It's not magic, right? We triangulating you, we trapping you, we watching you, we watching your text, and boom, right? We catch them, right? But some of that time they're stepping on your privacy. Shout out to Keep It Techie. I think it's an overreach, right? So, but that's how they do it. Multiple cell towers. You driving to, they pinging you, taking your strength, and boom, they can get you pretty close. And once again, with 5G, more poles, more access, more strength. And with that, I think they're getting ready for autonomous cars. So they're gonna be able to get you down to like 5 or 6 meters in the next couple of years, right? Because 5G is gonna need to get that close for autonomous driving, right? So now we're gonna the search of digital devices. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about warrants, right? What can they do? What can they get? Somebody that seems like a costume. Yeah, everybody thinks it's an overreach. Hmm. A person have reasonable expectation of privacy when I'm no, that's true. That's true. That's the big debate, right? So that is definitely the big thing. So when you talk about searches, what does that mean? Some search warrants are directed specifically at a digital device, such as a cell phone or laptop. Other contains more general language, like targeting records, photograph, or other kind of evidence that might be contained in a digital device. In other cases, investigators sometimes conducts an on-site manual search of your device, but oftentimes it will conduct an off-site forensic analysis of the device. Digital forensic analysis requires skilled analysts, suitable equipment, so that it's often some delay between the initial seizure of the device and the forensic analysis. Multi-stage search process gives rise to the question of when a warrant is executed for the purpose of a 48-hour rule, right? So by the time you search warrant, they give you amount of time you can actually hold on to the device, right? Before you have to return it. The crazy thing about it is, and they know it is, usually you don't do the forensics on the cell phone. You make a copy of all that device. So even though they return your phone, they still got copies of all your data, all your pictures, and all your messages, right? So that's one of the weird things about it, though. But into this particular case with Shanquella, they got the video showing that fight, right? So they're going to be able to get search warrant on anything they want because that's probable cause when you see somebody getting pummeled, right? So, and two is once again, whoever released that video or or whatever, just not thinking, right? Just setting yourself up, right? Now, and I agree with most people in there. Everybody in that room should get charged with geofencing and triangulation. We're gonna know everybody in that area, right? So we're gonna be able to charge everybody. So that's me searching with confidence. So with the search warrant, what can you get? What can you look at? And a lot of times too is, and they were debating this. I should have cut this out. Is if I get access to your phone and it's hooked to your bank account and you don't do MFA, or even if you do MFA, can I look at your bank account because I got a search warrant for your phone, right? Can I look at your Snapchat on your phone, right? Even though it's locked. So, right, those are separate. To me, those are separate applications. When I get a search warrant for your phone, that should be your photos and information on your phone, right? Not information connected to your phone, right? So, what is that? And I think that's a gray area. Most people do have extra passwords on or extra security on it, but sometimes they can actually start going through there and hacking. A lot of people get lazy too. They let their browser go ahead and log on to that stuff. They figure out if they put their pin on and everything else, you can automatically get to. Right? That's a bad idea as a security expert. Even when I do my pin, you still have to do passwords on each one of those apps, right? So I have to admit, my Facebook, once you do my pin, my Facebook's there, right? Then people know you're in Messenger, you sending messages, and you deleting messages right from Facebook. So you kind of open, right? So if I get access to your phone, does that mean I can look through your Facebook? And this is what we were talking about. A lot of people think they can delete stuff, and I probably go to that browser real quick and just kind of flow through it. But how police can find your deleted text messages, right? You deleted them. You think they're deleted. They're not deleted, right? When you delete a message, there are pointers to it, but the message is there. The way you really delete it is you got to delete the pointers, then right over the the part where your message is. If not, I could just put those pointers back in and release it. So when you delete stuff, that goes for pictures, side chicks, text messages, all that stuff, right? I always used to tease my son. I used to get his phone and he used to try to delete something. I'm like, Dad, your dad is a security savant. So he used to always bring up these these P pictures from Master Teasy was 10. I'm like, oh, Asians with big boobs. That's a weird combo, son. We got to do better than that. We gotta work on our ABCs and our multiplication. We need to be doing trigonometry, right? We need to focus, son. But once again, the police say they can find your deleted messages. A so-called physical analysis can typically retrieve deleted information that's hidden deep within your smartphone's memory. When a photo is saved, for example, device operating system will typically store a variation of the image in several different locations. A thumbnail view may still be available even when the original is not, right? So once again, right, you think you deleting it, you're not deleting it, right? It's called I gotta think of the term I think of it. Where when you click it, work for DOD, it writes over your disk 7 times, right? So anything on there is it's going to overwrite that disk. So it overwrites the disk of degaussing. So if you do degaussing, that's federal erasement. So that gets passed for DOD. What it does is it writes over your disk 7 times, right? So anything's on there, if you delete it and the pointer's there, now I'm gonna overwrite it. It uses ones and zeros and it overwrites the disk 7 times, right? That's called degaussing, right? Some crazy fruit of tree documents. So once again, let's look at this quick video. I'm sorry, quick web page where they were talking about that. I should have that lined up. So that's I've used one of those in class before just to play around. So if you hook your phone up to that, it can undelete files, undelete pictures, look through your memory. So if you delete something, forensic tool by Cellbrite can crack a phone's password and retrieve all the data. So even though if you do have passwords to those different sites, this machine right here can actually crack it. So think that a secure password erasing your phone memory will protect sensitive information. Think again. Smartphone forensic experts can retrieve just about anything from your phone. Police will often seize and analyze phones for evidence such as indecent photos, videos, what place and when and whom, browser history, calendar events, explanations of suicide or deletions. It can be uncovered whether or not it's deleted for this phone, right? So once again, that's a super quick article. And once again, forensics tool. When you actually get into the game, most of the big companies, this is the tool they use when they come on site and they get that search warrant and they take your phone. Even if you think you got it locked up, oh no, they're about to hook you up to that, right? It's gonna go through all your pictures too. Then they can start searching for keywords. Some of the new ones actually have recognition, so it knows if something's not inappropriate. Pedophile stuff, it can find stuff like that on your phone. So shout out to that though. But once again, if you think you're deleting it, nah, it's not deleted. So they can pull out that. Once again, forensic tool from Cellbrite can crack phone passwords and retrieve all your data, right? Because if you go back and look in history, every time the terrorists got an Apple phone, they figured out how to get into it, right? Israel got some of the top companies in the nation. Right? The one thing people were forgotten, Apple finally locked it down, is most times the phone was good, but they were making copies for their backup. So they were actually breaking into the backup locations to get all their data. But once again, let's get back on Chantel. This is another one. I think this is an overreach too. They let me know. State police sent you a friend request. Twice this year, Capitol Hill has ordered a state police run fusion center to beef up its social media monitoring. Documents show that analysts created fake accounts to do that work. You get a Facebook friend request for someone you don't know. An unknown profile seeks permission to view your protected tweets. Your private Instagram gets a follow request from an account you don't recognize. It could be the state police. All right, so once again, let's go and go to that site. We'll peruse through it. But law enforcement is all over social media because people snitching on stuff, people robbing banks and showing up money, right? So they're all over it, right? Then when you start talking about state and you go up a level, you start talking about the CIA and FBI and Homeland Security, they got some of the best tools and best people on the planet, right? So, so when they start doing that, and we know they uploaded a video, they probably shared it. A couple people tried to delete it for the Chantel deletion. They done got the video. They figured out who sent it, who they gave access to in their little private group. They all over that, man. Right. So once again, you setting yourself up, man. And at the end, I'll make sure I add these links at the bottom of the description if, when the video posts. So the police sent you a friend request. Get you a friend request for someone you don't know. We just said that. Here's the New York City. They got a social media policy. Documents provide a first look into social media monitoring powers of states' main police intelligence sharing hub. It comes to light as New York governor citing increased rates of interpersonal violence and recent mass shooting beats up NYC social media monitoring capabilities, right? So states, governors, and lieutenants, and CIA, FBI, they want people to get a hold of social media. The crazy part about that is, from the police standpoint, it's a good place because everybody's there, right? Everybody's communicating, and most people think they're smarter than what they are, right? And we probably dig into this at the end, talk about what is the social media part. And you as a company's got to figure that out. I worked for a large vendor. We used to check fraud sometimes, so we would go look at people's social media account, right, to figure out what's going on with it. So, um, once again, I think it's an overreach. I don't think the state police should be sending out friend requests, with the hot woman or the sexy guy. You got a new friend and they monitoring everything you do, right? They try to talk to you and get you into your closest groups and closest friends, right? Once again, I think that's an overreach by the government. So um let's see. It's not deleted, it's just straight and narrow, folks. Fine, it's fine. Let's see. Straight and narrow is the best way to go because you can't add everything from. No, facts. The government's getting pretty good. Once again, I think it's an overreach, but that makes stuff available. And a lot of times when you sign up for stuff, that's one thing you don't realize you signing when you accept that is they telling you is if we get a search warrant, we giving your data your data up, right? So people think what they put in on certain things is private to them. No, it's not private, right? Because either way, I could go through your ISP, your service provider, and get stuff. Once again, I could do a search warrant. Once again, most people they're just posting it freely on there, right? You've seen people rob banks and show them money, right? So it's the government. What's more powerful than the government? Who has more resources? No, that's true. Maybe Bill Gates. No, I'm just playing. Elon Musk. What's good? Shout out to Chaos Brain. Go check him out. Yep, the digital footprint. We actually call it digital footprint, and usually we start calling it the digital dossier. The reason we call it digital dossier is they're they're keeping a photo of certain people, right? A dossier of what you done, what you went to, right? So when I need to come and get you, I already have your electronic stuff already figured out. And a lot of times people don't realize is Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter's keeping a digital dossier because that's how they know how to market to you. That dossier says, I'm a man or woman. This is how the area is. This is what I think their salary is. This is what I think they're like. Because we know if you put something in Messenger, go look at your Facebook ads. They change for what you send in it, right? So obviously they're linked, right? So that's your digital dossier. A good friend of mine was running for a judgeship, and they could actually tell you Facebook. They could tell you within 90% what party they believe you're in. And they said they were correct 90% of the time, telling you if you were a Democrat or Republican. Right. So that's a digital dossier of you as a person. Right. China does it. It's called the Good Citizenship Scorecard. Right. People don't realize this. America does it just probably not as a level to Virginia, but that scorecard is what should we market to you, right? Are you high dollar, medium dollar? What do you like? What are your fetishes? Because a lot of times people send so much stuff in Messenger, right? People don't realize what your searches are, what your search bar is. Then they put these breadcrumbs. So when you go to a different website, Facebook, they all tracking that because they want to know your buying preferences, right? People forget that you pay $1 million for a 30-second Super Bowl ad. It can't tell if you went to the bathroom or not. Facebook knows when you on. They know who you are. They know what high school you with. They know your friend circle. I always joke. They know your side chick. You sending the same flyers to two different women. Facebook know all of that, right? So they have a digital dossier of who you are, right? Which is positive when they want to sell you something. But when the government comes for you, right, they have all that information because they're gonna do a search warrant. So all of her friends, they just running them through, right? Because the FBI is on them right now. The big dogs are on them. So they running it up. So let's talk about data usage. Cell phone bills used to contain charges related to the number of minutes spent, instant access to the internet, total monthly bills, how much data you're using. Every time you use the internet to do something on your phone, your monthly data meter goes up. Some acts and activities more data than others, but in a nutshell, type of mobile phone usage that rely on the internet includes checking mail, posting and scrolling on social media, iMessage for iPhones, using Google Maps, browsing, music stream videos, and downloading. I mean, it's so bad when I go to the restaurant. What Google say? You want to you want to comment on this? You want to give it 3 or 4 stars every time you go out to eat? Google's asking you, right? So if they asking you, they know where you went, right? So even if you drive past, I'm like, Google, I just stopped there. I just was rolling past and they get something. Did you go there, right? Do they have they got inside seating, outside? Is it covered? So you giving all the information, but to what you doing is you're validating the algorithm. Google's, oh, we were right. They went there because they commented on it, right? So all of that stuff gets put into your digital dossier, right? And all those people up there right now, the FBI is going through everything. Right? So if they shared something or shared that video with somebody and tried to delete it, we just saw what the machine is. You can't delete it, right? They're gonna come for you, right? That's what happens when the FBI comes for you, right? So I just highlighted this major cell phone providers overview. AT&T generate location and events data. AT&T does not validate the results. Message results location based. They suspend the radius every 15-20 minutes. T-Mobile, they got timing data. We were talking about the triangulation. They're doing that. They got advanced or time of arrival. Sprint, they got per call measurement data. Timestamps are based on switch times are held for 2 weeks to 90 days. Right. So Sprint's still keeping you for 90 days. I think they're keeping it longer, but 90 days. Location they can ping. They got 4 satellites. Wow. Tower email. So Sprint's really watching you, right? So these are what the cell phone companies and the carriers are doing. What people don't realize is Facebook, YouTube, they buy that data from the cell phones to merge it with your IP, right? So they're making sure they get all your location, all your data, so they can have a big data warehouse. Once again, a data dossier of you, because so they actually buy their data from the cell phone companies and internet providers to combine with their data. Then they have a more thorough picture and clear picture of how you moving, right? Let's see, Verizon's there. They're keeping it up to 3 to 10 days. Radius are currently very large. U.S. seller. So this kind of tells you how they're doing it. And this here is the retention period for your subscribers. I guess for data you save, AT&T is 7 years. T-Mobile's 2 years. Sprint's 10 years. Verizon's 3 to 5, and U.S. Cellular, right? So if you subscribe to their service, they're keeping your data that long. Call detail data. AT&T is keeping that 7 years. Sprint's 18 months. Cellular's 1 year. Man, AT&T, they look like they're reporting the IRS. Man, they keeping stuff. They keeping your data for 7 years. So I'm not gonna read the side. So they keeping your detailed call records, your sales site for your voice, SMS tag, tolls, SMS sales sites, your SMS content, tower dumps, Wi-Fi calling, voice over LTE, store your videos, voicemail, including cloud storage. So they're keeping your cloud storage. AT&T is keeping that for 1 year. AT&T Crick is 1 year, and Verizon's 187 days. So they're keeping all your data, even if you're deleting it, they're keeping it, right? So they're using it, and a lot of times too is, which we saw, they're selling it a lot to data brokers, right? So data brokers are getting that data and selling it. Why would I want it? I want to tell my advertisements that I got the best data on you, so I can send you something that you have a high probability of at least looking at, if not buy. Right. Somebody, you looking for something on Google, you go back or you say something and start showing up on Google, it starts showing up on your Facebook. Why? That's not by accident. That's why those companies are worth billions of dollars and you haven't bought anything from it. You don't pay to be a subscriber to Facebook or a member of Facebook, Instagram, or any of that. Elon Musk trying to figure it out, but you don't pay anything. So they keeping all your data. That's how they make money off of you. Ring doorbell, that's one big for me. It's Amazon Ring doorbell videos to police without owner's permission. The revelation highlights that many ways that police can get footage from your Ring doorbell and how often it happens without your consent. Amazon handed Ring video doorbell footage to police without owner permission for at least 11 times so far this year. A figure that highlights unfederated access to companies giving police to the doorstep across the country. And what Ring doorbell did is you get a discount if you let your Ring doorbell stream to your local police. They were giving people 50% off, which is cool. But the problem is if I'm walking in front of their house, they're streaming my face to their local police. I could be driving by on a quick walk trying to get a little exercise. Now my face ends up at the police, right? So the old people says it doesn't matter because you didn't do anything, right? Young people are like, that's a violation of my privacy, right? So and people don't realize Ring doorbell, ADT, so many people have this type of security in those system, and those videos a lot of times end up at the police. So back to hers, Shanquella's cases, a lot of those Airbnbs, if they're doing it correctly, their Ring doorbell is outside looking for intruders. But when you walk past, they're counting how many people that's scheduled into that room. When you walk past, which I should have did, they got facial recognition of who you are. PBR, I got your picture, then I can run facial recognition. I know if you got any warrants. I know if you got any tickets. I could pretty much figure out what city you are very quickly, right? You can see it on Facebook. When you come in, a picture come up, you type that person name in, it shows all the pictures of that person, right? That's facial recognition behind the scenes, right? You think it's cool because it's bringing all the pictures up with that person, but that's facial recognition. That's what the police going to do. So Shanquella, when they get those warrants, when they get them, they're going to run them. Why they going to run them? Because people going to be deleting all pictures. They put all their stuff on private. Search warrants are already out there. So they're going to run that facial recognition, and anything in the last couple of months with their picture in it, it's coming up. So if they're talking about it, or if somebody took a crazy picture about it or says something on one of her pictures and tried to delete, all that stuff is going to come up from the FBI investigation. So from a police perspective in anything, when you do forensics for cyber, it's called chain of custody. And most people know what it is. Chain of custody is digital forensics, also referred to as forensic link, the paper trail of chronological documentation of electronic evidence. It indicates the collection, sequence of control, transfer of analysis, documents each person who handled the evidence, the date and time it was collected, or the transfer is. They want to make sure nobody's tampering with the information. Because if you tamper with it, I could say, that's not me. Somebody tampered with the information, right? So that's why you want to do for chain of custody when you submit that evidence of those videos and all that. You got to make sure it's handled properly, right? The importance of chain of custody to preserve the integrity of the evidence and prevent it from contamination. We can also alter the state of the evidence. If doctors preserve the evidence presented in court, might be challenged and ruled inadmissible. Right. So at work, we talk about this. at work at a commercial, we never really try to get people arrested. We trying to make sure figure out what data they stole. But if you try to submit it in court, you got to have chain of custody. What's an examiner in there? Examiner obtains metadata for the pieces of data. However, you are unable to extract meaningful information from it. The fact that there is no meaningful information in metadata does not mean the evidence is insufficient. The chain of custody in this case helps shows where the possible evidence might lie, where it came from, who created it, the type of equipment that was used, in the way if you wanted to create an examiner, you can create that equipment and create it and compare it to the evidence to confirm the evidence property, right? So if you got a certain video camera and I got metadata saying that was used to show her getting attacked, right? Now I linked that attack video to the video, right? Because now they're the same, right? Then we're gonna do the geofencing. I'm gonna say within a 90% area, you were in the room because of the geofencing, right? And the triangulation, right? So now you start putting those pieces of evidence together, right? And now you have a super case. Importance of court: it's possible to have evidence presented in court dismissed. There's a missing link to the chain of custody. It's therefore important to ensure that a wholesome and meaningful chain of custody is presented along with the evidence at the court. So everybody know here I do cybersecurity. So at the end, these are some of the forensic certifications if you want to get in that realm. Access Data Certified, Certified Forensic Computer Examiner, Computer Hacking Forensic Investigator. Encase is a product. When I used to teach digital forensic, we used to use Encase. Then there's 2 GAC. These usually are expensive. You got a forensic examiner and a forensic analyst, right? That shows you on the left is how many jobs were on Indeed. On different ones. So 2,000. So there's like 4,000 jobs, depending on which certification you got, right? So once again, unique skill set, unique industry. So let's scroll back up the top real quick. So that's some of the stuff. When I'm gonna drop the link, so if you want to come up, we can chit chat about it. But it's gonna hit the high points. Some reason it just kind of hit me. I was kind of super sad for her because I just can't imagine that. But we hit a geofencing, search warrants, personal cell phone calls, ring doorbells. That's a separate video. I think that's just an overreach of mass surveillance at a crazy amount. We talked about metadata on video and phones, forensics of a device, social media. We saw the police setting you up. Car, your own store have it. So if you got in the car and it was in the geo area, the own store actually has an IP address and a MAC address. So as you drove off to that, I could triangulate where you were driving with that car, right? So I forgot to get the own store clip, but so that's kind of it at the high level. I wanted to touch on it from a forensic and cybersecurity perspective. There's a ton of people doing great videos on that. Once again, it's just super sad, especially during a holiday. RIP and shout out to her father. And her whole family. Just a sad loss for no reason at this, especially at the holiday time. We got to get it together, people. But once again, go check the replay out. We hit the geofencing, search warrants, ring doorbell, metadata, forensics. Once again, I do compliance, cybersecurity. I used to do it for a large state agency. What's up? Glad you could make it. You got to check out the replay. But so, and two, now with the hackers being and nation states out there running amok, each state have their own local FBI office. So they're actually definitely pretty good trying to figure out what's going on in each state. The reason you have a local FBI in each state is if you get a nation state and it's trying to attack the whole United States, those offices would talk to each other and figure out, okay, this is just not one state. This is in multiple states. We need to run it up the chain because a nation state could be taking down the United States. So, yeah, thanks for sharing this information. All good. I'm glad you could join me. Like I said, I'm gonna start doing a little more of this. Currently working on forensic case for Cyber Bootcamp. I'm struggling with this part of the course. What are you struggling with? Check my man out, Struggle Security. He's actually does that more. I think cybersecurity is a different animal, man. I was trying like this. All right. Okay, that's cool. Chaos Run, I hold tight. Shout out to Chaos Run. We're supposed to be collabing. I think this weekend or shortly. But once again, I appreciate that time. Something a little different. And I still too is I kind of want to let people know that cybersecurity touches you in so many different ways. We could talk about this from an FBI perspective, but that's really what Facebook slash Meta's doing, Instagram. Shout out to TikTok in the house. I haven't done a TikTok yet, but TikTok, they're all using these different techniques, right, to track you and figure out what you need to buy. And you know how they can sell you stuff, right? So that's it. And two is you can see right there, the camera's watching you now. It's just you videotaping other people, but you got to remember while you doing that. I know it's your phone, you geolocation. A lot of times too, as you doing it, you get monuments in the back. So if you put those monuments in Google could pretty much tell you where you're at, right? So you could take all those stuff and kind of track somebody down, right? So, and I think I know the police and FBI, CIA is getting much better at it. Once again, the companies are getting much better at it. But the question is, are we cool with that as a society of being tracked that much? Okay, using autopsy to review the evidence and SQLite browser. I'm looking through iPhone and trying to decode the information. Are you looking through it in binary or a certain format? Because a lot of times they usually that information is usually in a crazy format. Because like I said, we were using that in case, and like you said, when you try to review the evidence, sometimes, especially when it's in binary, then on the side of it's asking, you got to kind of try to map that back to figure out what is it looking for. Like you said, if it's a picture, what is it saying? Hope everybody's having a great holiday. And once again, let me see, is there anything else I want to hit? Yeah, geofencing is so common, and Google's got this down to a super science. I don't know if it's just because everybody's searching using their browser, so that off their phone, so they can get closer to the fence and get it tighter. Then the triangulation with the sky blue there, right? So that's really the phone companies and some of the social media track you down to that level, right? Because really, if a restaurant have no people in it, right? That's a good way to advertise. We give you 50% off because 50% of money is better than no money, right? So that's how they're getting it down too, right? In search warrants, it's weird because it's not weird. There's a lot of times in our big meetings, we have legal staff in there, right? So we're talking to legal, like, what can we do? What can we not do? What is the state statute for that? Right? Because sometimes states have their own things you cannot do, and the government has that, right? So you got to make sure you're getting all those aligned because you don't want to get your agency or company sued, right? So you always want to bring your legal in there. Right. That was cool when they showed the police with their device, right? Stuff you have deleted is not deleted. Half the stuff you got encrypted is not encrypted, right? So, this is kind of GUI view. Also go back in the Linux terminal, search into the W. Then I could transfer to that. Yeah, it sounds like you flowing, but yeah, it's been a minute. I know what you're talking about. Um, yeah, because in cases usually, like I said, I taught at a community college for a decade, and that's kind of the tutorials in case with autopsy. Then two is we use a few Kali Linux tools, which is what people use for teaching. So that's kind of the forensics on the iPhone. I've never done that on the iPhone, actually, to be honest. I've never done it on the iPhone, but that's usually the trifecta for teaching. Like I said, I got a playlist for forensics out there. when I used to teach it. But I don't think we weren't doing iPhones yet. Are you doing it? Obviously, you doing it online. Yeah, it's different. Like I said, I got a playlist out there for forensics. Just me, just doing some general lectures. Then off of those, um, I didn't show the labs because I think that'd be a copyright violation for the university. So I just kind of talked about it at a high level, right? So that might be one of the things. I thought about maybe teaching a YouTube class on it. I just don't do it enough to be super efficient at it. Right. I do it from a teaching standpoint. So I mean I was okay at it, but I didn't really do it practically for a living. So that's why a lot of times I don't really do stuff on YouTube unless I've actually done it. I actually do it for a living. And this is my first forensics class I'm doing online currently in cybersecurity boot camp. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool, man. Uh, Yeah, that's a good part of cybersecurity boot camp. I just flinch a little bit because I've very rarely seen it used in practice in real life. Like I said, a couple times we used it. We thought we were hacked, so we brought them in to validate if we were hacked or not. So that's when we use our forensics people. Like I do an initial forensic. So if I think it was happening, I'd be like, "Oh, you got to call the real dudes in." Because I feel too as forensic, if I miss something, I could get sued personally. If I say we got the hack and it wasn't a hack, right, and we get rehacked again, is that a lawsuit? So that's one reason I don't know. I'm super paranoid about messing with forensics, but I know a lot of guys do. Shout out to Struggle Security. I also got scammed recently, which I wish I knew more so I can find a scammer. Um, I always look for the IP address, look for CVEs for that scammer because a lot of times the FBI and the CIA is already looking on the scammer. So a lot of times you can piggyback off work they're done. I did one on Mastodon, which is the Twitter alternative, and they were talking about some of the vulnerabilities they had in there that were hackers were using and how to trace it back. So man, be careful, man. When you go for those hackers, man, they might come for you, man. So yeah. So once again, I dropped the link. I think my man Chaos is gonna come up. So once again, just keep throwing stuff in the chat. I need one more user to get to 2,000. Somebody subscribe. I'm trying to make it, man. It's been a hard way to 2,000, man. Shout out to TLA, man. They be getting 10,000 subscribers a month, man. Something crazy like that, man. But it's cool. I always tell people I like to get it out the digital mud. But once again, be careful out there. We'll look at the agenda we went over one more time. Like I said, I'm just kidding. It's right there. Geofencing, search warrants, personal calls, text tracking, metadata. We talked about residential cameras, metadata, those videos. Delving into forensics a little more in the social, then your own start tracking you with their IP, right? Because you're driving and you hit something, OnStar, are you okay? Obviously, they're tracking you, right? Obviously, the sheriff, CI, FBI can ask for those records from OnStar, right, to get it. So, yeah, how you find a scammer? Excuse me. How you find a scammer use Instagram? They made an identical profile to my local. Oh wow, pretending to be the patch cup scammer because people say, "Oh, that's oh my god." Yeah, this time of year I should do a video. This time of year it's crazy with that. Be careful, man. Shout out to that, man. Hopefully you just send them a lot of money. I'm just thinking, you should report it to the FBI, your local FBI or your local police enforcement. The FBI, like we talked about in local areas, should be able to request all the information from Instagram. And Instagram, like we talked about, unless they're smart, all their metadata is on those pictures that they copied. When they copied them down, they probably changed them a little bit, so it probably got their information on it, their longitude and latitude, maybe where they're at. So then longitude, latitude to tell you where they're at. So, what's up, buddy? You hear me, Chaos? What's up, man?
Do I sound
Do I
fuzzy?
sound fuzzy?
A little bit, a little bit. Got a little something in the
All right.
background.
All right.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on the road.
I'm on the road actually.
Oh yeah, you breaking up a
Why I
little
got
bit.
why it's
Why
why
I
is
got
repeating?
why
It's why is repeating?
Say that again. Oh, I know
No,
why. Hold on,
am I
hold on.
repeating? No, am I repeating?
No, it's me. I got the hold on, I gotta cut off my it's coming through mine because on my restream, anything coming through the thing is getting restreamed back again. So we talking in this restream back. I just gotta cut it off my restream.
All right, all right.
It
Let
should
me
be
see
off
how
now.
well I can do. All right, I'll try to keep it as smooth as possible. Yeah, man. A lot of people don't understand that when using social media now, even the advent of it back in 2000 with MySpace, Black Planet, and all these other social media sites that started come around first before we see Facebook came up 4 years later in 2004 of February. You
Mm-hmm.
know that since it's been slowly growing because of and I would say Facebook was more the growth even greater. That now people are in the digital realm and moving on to the 2010 era, it just only accelerates. Where more people are now, you will be surprised that don't have user social media. You'd be surprised. Majority, most people now, even now to the tune of 1 billion users, are on social media now. You get me?
I
So
can
this
you got
where hello, you get me?
I can you breaking up a little bit, but no, you keep going.
Yeah. Maybe I should take off my Bluetooth. No, I'm gonna keep it on for a bit. Yeah. So like I said before, this is where it's at now, social media. So obviously, they are monitoring everything now because people are putting their attention and time and energy in social media. Where they just document pretty much their life from what they post, from now the live stream videos. Cause you think about streaming live on social media, that was just that it came around to like 6 years later. You get me?
Yep, I
Officially.
can. True, true.
So now that people are using it to not only draw attention on themselves, but they use it as another crutch as clout,
Yeah,
professor. And
facts.
when I saw them post that crap, and this is my thing, and I want YouTubers that's content users listen good. Nothing's erased in the cloud. Once they start using cloud, everything you do moving forward, whether it's your consent or not, is stored in the cloud.
No, that's
They
true.
won't tell you that. They won't tell you that because they tell you that 9 tenths of the time you're going to probably, if you use your common sense, will think twice of posting any video of yourself in some ill manner for just clicks and views.
No, that's true. You
But
gotta be careful.
let's like I said before, and here's the funny thing, and I don't want to gender thing go there. That isn't ironic. A lot when she got deleted, that it could be a man that's, or actually not a man, a person that views might. But when they look at the images and the videos, we see only mostly.
Whoop, I guess he was in a bad area, so I'm sure he'd be back. So let's see what my man counts. Be careful. He made a very good replica of his church couple's Instagram. I was curious about the number of subscribers, and they had a one of at the end of their names. They did give me, I don't know, facts. I wouldn't feel bad about it. Just be careful out there. Yeah, that's when you see one. And a lot of times, too, is when I get stuff, a lot of times it's personal people I know. So I text them and be like, you all right? What do you really need? Right. Then I have to text. Most of the time they go, dude, that ain't me. So, and two is, I think the social media companies need to do a little better. They got a lot of fraud detection. A lot of these things they can see. Well, this is your face, and you got another account, right? So they should be sending stuff to original account just to see if it's a copy. So I think it's stuff they're going to start really trying to crack down on. Oh, facts, man. Even the best hackers get hacked, man. So I didn't get hacked, but I used to be on the dark web a lot. But I actually had a laptop specifically for me to go on the dark web. and I clicked on somebody, and somebody shot me some ransomware, right? So they gave me screen. They was like, "Give me money to get your data back." I'm like, "Psych, this is my ransom." So I just, formatted it, erased it, reloaded it, right? Because I knew that was a possibility, even on the dark web, that a lot of that stuff they're trying to get you. So the higher the risk, right, you should put things in place to, even if you get got, it won't hurt you. Once again, I got ransomware on that laptop. I knew it was a high probability. So once I got it, I just erased it, flushed the memory, then just reloaded everything back on. I had a ghost image ready for it to go because I had a high probability, right? And a lot of people don't realize cybersecurity at the top level is risk, right? If I do this, how much risk it is, and if it's risky, what's my plans? Because obviously it's gonna happen because the risk up. So once again, let me bring those slides up and just kind of recap geofencing. Oh, gotta share it. Gotta share it. So let's see. See if my man Cal's gonna come back. Geofencing, search warrants, phones, residential cameras, metadata, and be careful too, because a lot of people use residential cameras to look at their baby and keep track of their kids. Pedophiles are actually using those same cameras to look at your kids. One lady was breastfeeding her kid. She noticed her camera, which she wasn't controlling, was following her, right? So the hacker took control of her baby monitor camera and was watching her feed the baby, right? So just gotta be careful out here. We know it's a holiday. We know everything is more technically savvy. Almost every toy is hooked to the internet. The question is, does it need to be hooked to the internet, right, to use it? So once again, I think I'm gonna shut it down. It's a long week. Once again, I'm just working on my AWS. Reach out to me if you need anything. Professor blackops@gmail.com. Give me a couple days to read your email. Once again, if you got any IT questions or cybersecurity questions, I'll answer them. And if I can't answer them, I know so many good content creators out there that could help you with that. I'm kind of shying away from that forensic analysis. I don't do that enough. So it seems like he got it. Yeah, the autopsy with the end case. That's what I used to teach, but that's about 3 years ago. I'm a little rusty. So once again, Professor Black Ops. Please subscribe. I'm close to 2K, so that's my goal this weekend to get to 2,000 subscribers and keep it grinding. Once again, too, I got a forensic playlist and some other playlists. Just go out, check them out on my channel. Let's get in IT and cybersecurity and get the bag. It's out there for us to get. And I'll do many more streams, sort of like this, like I said, talking about society things. And shout out to the FBI. I don't think they're going to need the FBI to get them, but the FBI is going to get all the data, all the videos, all the pictures, all the messages where they were hating on her in the background. All of that stuff's about to come to life. So I hope her family gets justice. Peace to everybody. Everybody have a nice weekend.